Mic check, mic check. Welcome to On the Mic with Ray White, where we share life lessons, self reflection, and equip you to take action. My name is Ray White, and I am juiced that you're taking time to listen to this episode today. And I got three things that I've been learning so far in the beginning part of 2025 that I'm just going to drop with y'all right now. First thing, foremost, three phrases I'm going to share with y'all. The first thing is plant the seed, reap the harvest. Planting the seed of wanting to start a podcast a long time ago, getting over the fear of actually coming to the mic and speaking to it, getting over the fear of working on the edit, getting over the fear of actually hitting publish and putting it out there and let people know that this is what I do. All those steps and getting over those humps and realizing, hey, I'm still okay, has created this sense of confidence and capability to do the things that I know I want to do and will do in the future. So, what back in the day, being able to do that, but even stemming before that, being an MC for pep rallies and assemblies in high school, and even before that, doing announcements at church. You know what I'm saying? Like having a mic and holding a mic and being able to be present on in front of people, and then moving to the online space and realizing not really people are paying attention to you that closely anyway. So all these fears and worries and doubts of if I say the wrong thing or if my quirkiness comes out or if how I say it isn't exactly hitting what people, not getting the likes, follows, shares, all the things, the vanity metrics online, that don't matter. It's the personal growth that matters as you develop and build this particular skill set. So I'm very grateful, speaking specifically about the podcast, speaking specifically about OTM, that it has created this opportunities to reap the harvest 5, 6, 7 years later. And then, as we look at the long time horizon, the last 15, 20 years, because of the level of planting the seeds of practice, being on the mic, speaking, communicating, working on effective communication personally, and studying in that with the small tidbits that I can't do. What is the harvest I'm talking about? We're in this stage right now where the opportunity to speak more, to facilitate conversations more, to host workshops, host webinars, be able to coach and consult for organizations and businesses to create inclusive leaders and belonging workplace cultures is now coming to fruition. And that started with the seed of planting of, hey, I want to see what this podcast thing is all about. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to start here. That first step, as scary as it was, to set up the next step of where I'm currently at today, where I am working on the Leaders Lens community newsletter, consulting, things of that nature, that is really focusing on developing inclusive leaders that creates these belonging workplace cultures. And then also is provided opportunities for me to figure out what does that inclusive leadership principles mean, and how do I share that at the workplace with other leaders, with student leaders, with athletes, and with coaches, being able to integrate a lot of these principles into some of their pre-existing programs and organizations to enhance what they're currently doing. And that is providing opportunities for folks to kind of say, yo, Ray, like, come help and be a part of this work effort. Join me in this organization, join me in this board, host this workshop, facilitate this conversation within our community. We want to foster this ideal, this principle in this space. And we love the way that you articulate it. We love the way that you connect with the people. We want you to help us with that. And wow, like the fact that like that is becoming like that's happening now is pretty amazing. And it's one of those things where I wanted to have it to happen years ago, 10 years ago, right? But we have trials. There was trials. There were events of failure, honestly, of not getting the gigs or not getting the job opportunities I thought I was going to get. There were some, even gigs that I did receive that I had to like practice and cultivate. What does that voice sound like and look like? Whether it is, in the room at 10 something at night or live at a workshop or in front of people online. The reps needed to happen. But the seed of actually thinking and just having that vision to say, I want to be a leader that is providing influence and creating and shaping culture in a way that is uplifting and encouraging and helps people move to action. And without that intentionality, we would not be here at this point where I am shaping real keynote talks for the next generation of leaders and creating opportunities and continue to seek more opportunities in that space. So the first point, as we step into 2025, you got to plant that seed. You got to plant that seed. There's that proverb or whatever that says, you know, the best time to plant the seed, plant the tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is now. And there are some seeds that I'm still need to plant personally, but I'm grateful for the ones that I used to do or have done back in the day, 5, 10, 15 years ago to put me in this position, because now I'm being able to see the fruit of that seed being planted through the intentional studying, watering, cultivating the soil, being engaging in networking, being in new environments and learning and soaking in that knowledge, practicing getting the reps in. It's bearing fruit at this point. And now my next step is to not let the tree wither. You feel me? You got to keep cultivating it. I got to keep practicing. I got to keep putting the reps in. I can only get better and keep progressing, knowing that progress is the most important thing, not perfection. So, how do we keep moving forward in that? And I'm excited because that is what the first point is as I'm learning in the first month of 2025. The second thing, your goals doesn't care about your mood. They don't care. Well, your goals don't care. They don't care that you've retired. They don't care that you aren't feeling right. They don't care that your work, you haven't done the studying, you haven't done the work. Your goals don't care. You meet it or you don't. There was a goal. I remember this phrase in college football. I don't know how it originally first originated, but there was this running joke that a lot of the upperclassmen would be like, "Oh, so and so doesn't feel like it. They don't feel like practicing today. They don't feel like catching that football or running that route or making a tag. They don't feel like it today, right? Like in a sense of like mocking the person." And I'm sure it stemmed from like either a video or a meme or a movie or something like that, or a song, or somebody actually probably said it on the field. But um the what as 10 years later, the concept of it reframes that it don't matter. The work has to get done. Now, here's an aspect that we got to be mindful of, is that doesn't mean running yourself to the ground, which I lately have been burning the candle on both ends. And what I mean by that is waking up early in the morning because I got so much, like, one, I can't sleep. Two, the baby's awake. Three, I got work to do, right? So I'm up early, I'm writing, I'm ideating, I'm meditating, I'm reading the Bible, I'm listening to the Gospels. I'm trying to figure out what's the next thing that I can develop or create or cultivate within the leadership development space and the speaking and the work that I want to do. I'm doing that early in the morning because I know it's quiet. And then we get through the day, it gets loud, it gets noisy. I got work, I got all the things I'm trying to accomplish and do. And then then the family comes in. I got, working with the kids, being engaged, active in their things, wanting to connect with my wife and be intentional about my relationship with her and the meetings that I have and the people that I want to build a relationship with. All that happens pretty much from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., right? Of trying to put in those things. And sure, there's gaps and opportunities to develop and work on my dreams in between, but the hour or the day has been accounted for. The 12 to 14-hour day is already accounted for with the people in my life that I said yes to. But then the other aspect of it, I got sleep. I think, you think I sleep. But I've been losing sleep on the front end and the back end, or not getting less sleep on the front end and the back end, to try to work to do the things I want to do. Waking up early, doing the late night owl thing. I gotta be very mindful to not burn myself out in doing so. And there has been definitely periods of doing that where the sense of urge of excitement, I get up, I will do the things I need to do, and then go through my day, and I'm up late, continue to do some things I need to do because new ideas are sparked throughout the day, right? Like, shoot, we're doing it right now. But that can only get you so far. There still needs to be rest. There still needs to be some intentionality and focus on the top things that's going to help you move the needle to your goals. And once you identify what those goals are, that again goes back to the discipline that you need to have in order to meet those particular goals by focusing on the performance that's going to be necessary to meet the outcomes that you are desiring, which goes back to the statement that your goals don't care about your mood, right? So if you're finding, if I found myself like saying, okay, if I want to be optimal in my performance, if I want to meet these goals, like let's for example, the goal I have set for 2025 is I want to be on 25 stages, speaking, facilitating, doing workshops, being emceeing, what have you. I want to be on 25 stages in 2025. Why that number? I don't know. It just sounds nice. So if that's the goal, and I wake up tomorrow and be like, I don't feel like reaching out to that decision maker. I don't feel like sending that email, or I don't feel like writing down what my key message and core themes are, or I don't feel like making that content. Then why did I make that goal? Right? The goals don't care about my mood, but I don't need to be burning myself out to try to meet that goal because of maybe I don't feel like it. So I need to be able to be intentional with what my day needs to look like to maximize and optimize my performance, just like an athlete. So how am I carving out 90 to 2 hours a day, 90 minutes, 2 hours a day to be intentional deep work? How am I taking those breaks of working out, of prayer, of doing some writing and being in relationship with other people that fill me up so I can sustain and do the deep work that I need? How do I carve out time to actually write down the stuff that I need to do and focus on the needle moving events, money making activities that will drive myself to reach that goal of 25 and 25, but not get sidetracked by doom scrolling or whatever, right? Like there are small things and small habits that I need to do and work on to discipline myself, just like, again, like an athlete would, to reach the goals that I want to reach. So goals don't care about your mood. What goal that you have that you're trying to reach, and what are the things that are hindering you from reaching that? What can you do to make the shifts in order to focus on meeting that goal? Last thing, service first. This goes back to the burnout. I get so excited. I do the work, I do my readings, I do my research on inclusive leadership, belonging workplace cultures, community centered leadership, strategic leadership execution, employee leadership resiliency. I do my research on all these things and wanting to present that to the world, right? And wanting to showcase that, hey, I am working to be a cultivator of knowledge in this area to help guide people through this work. And I guess selfishly hire me, right? Like utilize me as a resource to help get you to where you want to go. Some of the things that I've talked about with some of leaders, advisors, and coaches around me is that while that is a great endeavor, I need to be mindful of my motives. Is the motive to put me on a pedestal, or put the person or the other people on the pedestal? Am I serving myself, or am I serving others? And there have been moments where I found myself thinking, if I write this 10,000 word blog post, that blog post is going to put me in a position of authority, and that position of authority is going to help me get hired for coaching and consulting and speaking opportunities. But really though, like, is that really going to help me get there? I don't know. It might, if that was like my MO of desiring to help be a servant or help share my knowledge with somebody else. But I already went into it with the intent thinking that I need to perform this way so that I look good so I can get hired for the next thing. So immediately the intention was already off. And I think that's what's been hindering me of showing up a little bit more consistently, whether it is 1 or 2 times a week, or putting out the podcast, putting out the blog, doing the newsletter, things like that on more a consistent cadence. Because the right when I step to the activity, I think of me rather than the other. So I'm working on that. Like it's a process. But the service first mindset helps me to think about, what is it that I've learned that could be just helpful for somebody else? What perspective in this leadership space, what lesson or what infographic or what blog post or what video that I was like, oh, that was interesting. I think this might be beneficial for the community. So how do I help them with that? That mentality helps in at least taking away the spotlight on me and focusing on the concept and what I think about the concept, but inviting other voices into that to say, what do you think about this too? Because we're all in this together and we're growing together in this work. So those are the things that have been processing in the first couple of months. First month of 2025, how to plant the seed to reap the harvest is number one. Your goals, don't care about your mood is number two. And be a servant first, then a selfish person first in the content and development I'm creating.